Hey, stretching time? We have managed to leave earlier today. I think we're going to try and leave a little bit earlier each day. But after being able to just chill for a few hours last night, we definitely feel much more refreshed and we feel ready to take on the day, especially because it's not raining, although it probably will rain at some point during the day.
But the rain is a lot nicer. It's more like mist. It's more magical than anything.
Well, it rained really heavily while you were still in your tent for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, so that's why I was still in my tent. Let's go!
Also, Amber found that actually in her pack that she borrowed from a friend, she does in fact have a waterproof cover, so now her stuff won't get as wet. We were kind of wondering whether last night she would have to try and fit into my one-person tent along with me, but it ended up not being an issue. Most of today is along the beach, and then we go a little bit inland before going to the springs, which is our camp for tonight. And today it's definitely been a much more enjoyable hike. When we were walking through the sand dunes at the start, coming out of Swan Lake, we were actually able to appreciate the beauty that was around us, and it was so nice to actually be able to focus on our surroundings instead of focusing on, like, we just want to get out of the rain and we want to cook food for dinner. Yeah, and now this has been a quite enjoyable hike along the beach. The sand has gotten much harder here and we can see the peninsula coming out in front of us.
It's pretty misty, so you can't see the beautiful colours, but there's some nice wind turbines waving at us.
Yeah, true. It's been very foggy for most of the day. Once we start turning around the peninsula, that's when there's going to be that little inland part. So we're looking out for that.
And here we have a specimen, the finest cat, eating her nutritious, carefully measured out macronutrients. And if you can see in the distance, there's a tiny little island. No, it's a peninsula, just kidding. With some wind turbines and some sand dunes. And back to the Kath.
We just walked most of the way down there, which isn't that far, but then we took a look at my rider GPS map and we realized that we had actually passed the section where we're supposed to go inland, but we had only just passed it by a little bit, but we had been looking out for it this whole time and we were like, how could we have possibly missed it? It must be so badly signposted. So this is actually where we're supposed to go inland, this little like divot kind of thing. There's a sign very far in the distance that indicates that it's the Great Southwest Walk. So I don't know how we were supposed to see that without a GPS. That's pretty dodgy signposting, I feel like. We thought that the little bit where like the beach stops and all the water starts was probably where we need to go and land, but then there was nothing there. And I was like, hey, we should probably have a look at the map.
Otherwise we should start swimming.
Yeah, Amber just pointed out the sign that we were supposed to be able to see from the beach. And I think the reason that we couldn't see it is because it's fallen over. Oh man, we just saw the sign for the Springs camp and I have honestly been struggling quite a bit for the past maybe 3 kilometers and I am so deliriously happy. I can't wait to eat. I'm wet. I'm wet and it's windy. Oh my goodness, my water just ran out. We are beginning our 4th day. We have only 15 kilometers today, so I think it should be all enjoyable because the first like 16 kilometers of yesterday was super nice. We got to just take in the views and we're having a really good time. But the last 5 kilometers of yesterday was just a bit of a struggle. And also we have a new addition to our little pack. We've got Callie behind me, and she has very kindly offered to let us leave some of our excess food in her car on the way. And I've set aside about half of the food that I brought to put in the car because turns out that I brought way too much food. I thought I was going to eat a lot more than I actually did. So I'll definitely keep that in mind for future trips. I've definitely noticed a big difference in how sore I was before I went to bed last night and how not as sore I am this morning. It's been the biggest difference out of any night so far. So feeling really good about that, and we've had some lovely views that we can really enjoy because we're not, you know, walking through soft sand and stuff. So today it's looking really good already.
And it's not raining.
Yes, yes, it's not raining. That is another thing. Oh, my pack feels so much lighter already. We just refreshed ourselves at the Cape Bridgewater Cafe with some lovely fresh food that someone else cooked for us that has also not been dehydrated. So it was really lovely. And now we've got about 4 kilometers to our campsite for tonight. The walk has been so great today, but I have had a blister form on one of my toes and all my other toes are very sore as well. So I ended up putting on all sorts of band-aids and tape over every single one of my toes, and then I found that it was very hard for me to fit them into my hiking boots as well. I really struggled to get them on. I think my feet have swollen up a little bit, but now that they're in the shoes and everything's taped up and everything, feels good. Feels much better than it did a couple of hours ago.
This is just going to be like a missile, like
Falling your head
unsanitary projectile.
An unsanitary projectile.
Great definition.
The worst of them all.
Today's hike was the best day so far. It was really great. I had trouble with fitting my feet into my shoes, but the views were lovely. We had all sorts of different things to look at today, and we got to see some really cute seals. We looked at them for like half an hour. We got a cafe, and it's just a really good time today. I just hope that my feet will last for tomorrow. Tomorrow is our last day, and we have a lot more beautiful things to see on the coast and another cafe to go to at the lighthouse. I was quite significantly slower going up the small hills that we had compared to the other two in my group, so I felt a little bit bad about that, and I was very out of breath. But I didn't feel like it was an issue for me. I just felt like I need to do this slowly and I need to just take a minute to have a breather up the top of this hill. I still enjoyed all of it, unlike some or almost all of a few of the days we've had so far, such as day 2.